Hello, welcome to not episode 12. This is detached from those episodes. No, this is coach driving tips with me. A new style video that I was talking about in episode 11 or 10, one of those. Just basically pointing out tips of driving a coach in different conditions, in scenarios. So this isn't aimed at anyone specifically, so to speak. It might be helpful if you're doing your PCV test or looking at doing your test. This has some, rough hints and tips of what to expect in your test. Now, disclaimer before I carry on with that one is that obviously do book lessons with an instructor. Okay, so many days, weeks, whatever. Don't use this video as a way of, a guide to passing your test. So don't just book a test and think, I'll just watch these videos, it's right. Mostly because things in the test will change probably a few years after this video is out, certainly. There's different aspects I'm not going to cover that you'll have in your test. So, yeah, please, no, do that. But this is just a way of what you could expect in your test, so gives you a bit of a heads up of what you're going to get in your test. And if you're not doing your test, fine. If you're just interested in maybe what you do in your test and what we do in general, you're not a driver, you're just interested, then it's this will be for you as well. But in general, today we are covering A roads, so it's a good basic one to start with, really, because it's one of the simple ones in a way, because A roads are main roads, they're trunk roads if you like, but there's different types of A roads as well, and there is certain things to look out for. So today we're going from Oxenwood to just outside of Devizes, and I hope you enjoy it. Do apologise if it's probably a bit ropey in places, to be honest. I've said at the end of the video, I'm not very good without a script. Doing things on the fly, so I'm trying to drive as well. And as you know, driving takes priority over thinking of what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I hope you do find it useful, and if you do post in the comments, so enjoy the video. Right, so here we are leaving Oxenwood. So we'll get to the A road in a moment. There's a car out. So the first one we're going to do is the A388, and then we're going to be on the A3. Oh, I screwed this up already. The A thingy road that goes to Marlborough. So what it is, we've got a sort of white A road, as I call it, and then a green A road. This is the types that I use just myself. It's just what I think in my head, or I'm on a green A road, I'm on a white A road. But nonetheless, much the same. They're, trunk feeder roads, if you like, between two places. But don't be fooled that you think an A road is going to be a straight, like the motorway. Don't think it's going to be all swooping bends and long straight roads. There are, don't get me wrong. But that's the point. This is why I thought I'd do the return from Oxenwood. If you've seen the last episode, you get a rough idea what the roads are like anyway. But there's A roads that are like B roads as well. That's what you've got to be careful of. Sometimes you might think an A road, that's fine, I can just put my foot down and carry on at 50 all the way. It's not always like that. So as I say, this is just tips and tricks for your test, and some notes for post-test as well, once you pass your test. The key thing is, if you're watching this specifically, because you're starting to do your PCV test or looking at doing it. Nope, I'll carry down that gap there. So we can go in there. Cool. Yeah, the thing of doing your test is you're learning to pass your test. That's just what it is. Don't get me wrong, you know, it's not all things you think, oh, you just do that to pass your test, so I'm not going to bother doing that again. No, absolutely not. There's all sorts of techniques that you do to pass your test that you should carry on using after your test as well. There's some things like now I'm using retarder. You don't necessarily need to do that in your test. Do not worry about that. Use your foot brake. That's how I done it. I had a vehicle with one of these on, but he said don't worry about that. They're not going to mark you off for not using it. It's best to start using that after your test, once you're actually driving. But there's all sorts of scenarios that you won't get in your test as well. That's worth knowing once you've done your test. There's all sorts of little things that that you pick up afterwards, really. As I say, there's no guide to driving after you pass your test. It's just stuff that you pick up. Like this, for example, you might not get this in your test, but I can gauge the gap there. I know the width of my vehicle. I can think, yeah, I can get through there easily, like that. Another thing is also remembering not to say thank you like this. Put your hand up and say thank you. Let your examiner do that. And flashing your lights and all that. Don't do that. Don't let a car through, you know, think, oh, flash your lights, you come through. No. Okay, so we're on those 338s. So I'm going to take a wide swing out here because I can't see left. As you can see, I can't see anything if I stop here like that. So I need to edge out. I can see it's clear down there, but I can't see down here. So there's no point me going until I can actually see. I can see there's a car coming now. There's nothing coming up the road. And you think, why am I looking both ways when I'm going left? Well, see, I need to use the other side of the road. So I'm looking at my back wheel there, the verge. I can just skim the wheel around there. Looking at my top mirror there to check the verge. And I'm using the other side of the road, see? So I want both sides of the road clear. That's how you get out of a junction that's on a funny angle. Again, you won't usually get a junction like that in your test. You might do, don't get me wrong. I don't know all the test routes, you know, I only know the two routes that I've done on my test. It didn't involve junctions like that. I mean, there might be some routes that are, you know, as I say, I don't know, this isn't a official how to pass your test video. So see, the limit down here is 60 mile an hour for cars, 50 mile an hour for coaches and trucks. Probably I should know, but I think it would apply for caravans and such like as well. But I don't have a caravan, so I'm not interested in knowing the limit for that. But interested in knowing what my limits are. So it's 50 mile an hour, but just remember that's a limit. It's not a target. You'll find car drivers, not all, I'm not going to tie everyone with the same brush. Most, that's the word. There's most car drivers will see the limits 60, meaning that you must do 60 irrelevant. It's just a factual, it's just what it is, you know. Not having a go at everyone, there's just some drivers that do that. It's like here, I won't want to be doing 50 around here. It's finding a balance. It's a bit of a sixth sense, I suppose. It's nothing you train to do, it's just something that's you learn to see what a curve's like. This is quite tight, I can't do 50 around here really. I can probably stick at whatever speed I'm doing now. What was that? I couldn't look then. 25. Sometimes it might look faster on the camera above than what I'm actually doing. Remember, I'm on a wide angle camera, so the speed perspective on your view might look a bit faster than what I'm actually doing. So it's also, what I was just going to mention then as well, was just being careful of these verges. Alright, they're stone verges, so you know, it's not going to cause damage per se, but you can easily get pulled in, like just round down the bend. If you just catch your tyre on it just slightly, it will try and, it feels like it's trying to drag you in. Your wheel will just go to the left just a bit. It's easy to get out, just knock the wheel to the right a little bit, but this is why we try to keep up the verges where we can. This is why on the last episode, episode 11, I was talking about riding over the white line sometimes, just to keep away from that verge. The only time I went over the white line was just like back there, going around the bend, because I prefer to stick to the left, obviously, going around the bend. You don't know what's going to come round the bend, coming the other way. Here we've got lorries, so I'm going to slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Keep an eye on my left, keep an eye on my right. Pull out the verge a little bit, now the cars are gone. There we go. It's easier to pass a vehicle like that at walking pace, or almost stop nearly. If there's a larger vehicle coming the other way and you're slowing down and stopping and they're not stopping, it's easier for you to stop and just let them try and get past you at speed. Because if you both cross at 50 mile an hour, or even 40 mile an hour, it's going to be awkward really, especially when you've got big mirrors as well. So you can see here it says a sign that's warning us there's a pinch point, which is just here. And there's a blind bend as well, so it's keeping your speed down to a reasonable pace. You know, I'm doing 20, 25. That's an ample speed for me. I've got a safe distance where I can stop. And if you need to use the road, like here, I've got nothing behind me, nothing coming the way, I can cut the corner slightly. There's no harm in doing that. He's going to wait for me. Yes, that's right. Just keep an eye on the mirror there. Do it slowly. Slowly makes it much easier. Okay, so we're back into a 50 now. We've come out the 30 limit. I'm going to sit in the middle, just a little bit. I don't want to go down that's quite a dip down there. And I'll keep my speed down because obviously it's a blinder right here, so I can't see if there's any cars or vans going to come charging the other way. Down again for the passing traffic because I want to keep in the left lane a little bit there. And again, we've got this S-bend, so because there's nothing coming the other way, I can afford just to cross that white line just a little bit. Don't want to cross it too much here because I can't really see what's coming until now. There we go. Another sharp left, denoted by the sign there and the chevrons in front. So bring the speed down again. Again, I couldn't see that there because these hedges there. So it's blocking my visibility. So I want to slow down so I can take the bend and keep it in the left lane. Obviously when doing your tests you want to be looking at your mirrors both sides about every 10 seconds. Try and do that naturally. I wouldn't try and drive and specifically try and count to 10. It should be second nature, you know. it's a point like that you should use it after as well, because if you've got a car behind you and there's a straight, it's likely that the car might decide, well, he's going at 30, 40 and a 50, I want to go faster, which is fine, do what you like, you know. So that car might decide to overtake, so at least keep looking in your mirror just in case it does overtake. In a scenario like that, you'll just want to dab your brakes on just to let him get past. Slowing down again here for this bend because we're coming up to the roundabout now. Okay, technique for the roundabout as well is approach the roundabout, keep to whatever lane we're going right, so we need the right hand lane because we're going just up there. Check the traffic is clear, check the blind spot before you move away. Keep an eye on the mirrors, pull the steering wheel round, keep an eye on the curb, and just before you do a left, just do a check in the left mirror and the blind spot before you take the exit. And some other tricks I'd like to teach you about on a roundabout as well. It's quite awkward trying to explain about certain things on a roundabout, especially just then. There's a few things I wanted to say, but the problem is I'm moving around the roundabout, I can't just stop and point them out. It's something I could probably do in a post-edit, to be honest. I could probably just do a dry recording and record a voiceover afterwards and being able to pause the video, but anyway, hopefully there'll be other positions where I can point out specific things on a roundabout. But anyway, right, we're on the A road to Marlborough now. This would appear in your atlas, or yeah, it would be in the atlas as a green road. On Google Maps it would probably be an orange road. So this is quite a nice road, it's nice and straight. But again, as you can see, I've got the silver car, you can probably see in the mirror there. It's edging out. I can see, I think he's probably wanting to go past, so I'm just keeping an eye on him now and again. I don't think he's going to overtake once the bend. I'm doing my speed limit at 50 mile an hour. He's wanting to do 60. But there are a couple of straights I know down here, so there might be an opportunity where he might want to go past. Keep an eye on this fan in case he pulls out. He'll stop for me. So we've got a bit of a dip in the road, so easing off the throttle now, just coasting. A346, that's the road. And then we've got this double bridge that's coming up. You see the sign there that says slow down. We can take this right down in a moment because we can't see what's going to come around here till now, so it's clear, that's fine. That car will have to pull in there to wait for me, like so. Thank you. And I'm going to accelerate right to 50 straight away because of this bend. It was noted on the sign back there, reduce speed now for this left bend, so keeping it down at 35. That's more than enough speed. And we're going to downshift, yep, there we go. Okay, so here's another straightish bit of road. Keep an eye on the car behind again. Easing off the throttle a bit because we are going down a hill, so it's just going to roll itself slowly up to 50 mile an hour. looking at the road here, I can see it dips down a little bit. So I'm just taking my foot off the throttle there, letting it roll down, and then just as we get to the bottom, just slightly opening up the accelerator. And then it feels like we're going to go downhill a little bit more, which there's a dip there. And we are actually coming into a 50 limit itself as well, which is fine because I was restricted to 50 anyway, so I don't need to slow down. So I'm already doing 45, just coasting it there. That's just brought me to 50 mile an hour. So just opening up again just a little bit, keeping it between 45 and 50. Big dip here. Just using the retarder there just to bring the speed steadily back to 50. Checking that car's not going to overtake in a gap, but seems to be quite some distance behind now. Okay, so we're coming up to a downhill stretch into Marlborough. You can see the sign that's coming up now. So I'm just going to ease off the throttle in a moment. We're doing 40, 45 roughly at the moment. Keep it to now. Hovering my foot on the brake. I'm not actually using the brake. I'm going to start on the retarder now. Notch 1, notch 2, notch 3. It's quite a downhill slope, so the weight's going to be pushing this down the hill. And a bit more, and then I'm going to use max retarder now, because we're going to go now to the 30 mile an hour limit. I'm just going to pull into this bus stop in a moment. Indicate left, check the left mirror. And bring it to a stop. There we go. Not just to let the car go by, but this is a scenario that you may or may not get in your test. I did on one occasion. I can't remember if I did it on my second test. I don't think I did. But you might do it on your test. Not sure. But either case, it's worth noting that you might end up with a bus stop like this, where we are now. Not necessarily in a bus. If you're on a coach, it might be this might be a bus stop to drop off kids on the school run, or it might be a private hire pickup bus stop, say. Okay, so you think, well, that's fine. So how do we do that? Well, we just pull out indicate right after checking the mirror. But well, we haven't really got much distance viewing point there. Did you see that van there? If we pulled out now, there wasn't a lot of time. So we use that left mirror. You can see the traffic a lot better in this left mirror because we're on a bend. The way that the bend goes round, you've got better visibility in the left than you have in the right. So we do into neutral, checking all the blind spots, indicate right. I'm going to check the road there, still clear at the moment because that car's quite a way away. Check the blind spot, check again, and away you go. If there was a car coming down and you wanted to go after, say, a red car that was coming down the hill, maybe that was the only car that was coming down, you'd see the red car on your left hand mirror. Keeping on that left hand mirror until you see the red car obviously appear on your right. Check again, and if it's clear, check again on the right, and then pull away. There's a bus stop on one of our school runs that we do, is on a bend like that. It's always a case of looking in the left mirror first for traffic, and then checking the right afterwards. It's handy as well when I've got a camera down here, I can check the scene behind, but not all vehicles are going to have that. So we're going to do a left here, but obviously I can't swing out to the right because I've got bollards, so I'm going to use the other side of the road again, a bit like we did earlier. So I'm going to let this traffic clear out first. I'm going to be checking both sides, checking the right, checking the left, checking the right again, checking the left, because I'm going to use the other side of the road here, mind that building there, and that way I don't ride the curb as I go around on the left turn there. Checking the traffic here, there's a car pulling out now. I'm not going to drive up to that car there, okay, I'm going to give a good car length room in front. And the reason for that is, if I just show you now, I can just pull out slightly to the right and glide around the car, and I don't have to try and do a sharp right turn. Check the mirror before we pull back in to make sure you clear the parked cars. Also, I'll probably cover more of this on a proper episode if this becomes something that people would like to see. You know, I'll probably do a town version, covering little scenarios like this. Obviously, the whole idea of this video really is just about the A roads. There you are, going left. I'm keeping this on for now anyway, because it doesn't take long to get through Marlborough, and we'll be on the A road on the other side in a moment. Now, cyclists is another one. Obviously, if you're used to driving your car, overtaking cyclists is going to be different than it would be overtaken in a coach. So like that car that could easily overtake. It's a short vehicle, it's a short space. Doing that in a coach would be a no-no, because the length of the vehicle, you're going to take longer, slightly longer, to overtake cyclists like this. So in a car you might be able to go around now. Oh, they're indicating left, so they're going to come off the crossing, I assume. Yes. In a coach I wouldn't overtake there, because I'll be using the other side of the road. There's more chance of cars coming around on a blind spot like that. It has to be a nice long straight, nice ample distance of view before you consider overtaking the cyclists. Okay, we've got a siren's coming up behind. Is it safe for me to let him by? We've got a bend coming up here, so I'm going to indicate left. I'm going to come around the bend and then stop somewhere there's good visibility for the ambulance to see down the road. Here's a good spot. Okay, back right again. There's nothing behind, but it's good practice to do that anyway. So if that actually happened, because there was a point I was going to make about blue sirens. Sometimes you don't actually get those scenarios in your test. Now, when you see blue lights, sometimes people just think it's just best to stop. Just stop wherever you are. Just stop. Not necessarily, because if you stopped here say. Alright, say this is narrower than what it is. There's not much visibility here to see what's coming around the bend. Don't stop just before a bend, stop after a bend. Make sure that the distance of the road ahead is, you know, reasonable, like from here to where that car is, say, before pulling in to let the police, fire engine or ambulance go past. Like here, for example, if this was just a 2-lane straight road without this filter lane in the middle, probably not a good idea to stop there. Which is why just then, when I found that bend of the road, probably could have. It is quite wide, but it's best just to find a spot after the bend where there's some ample visibility for oncoming traffic to see that there's an ambulance coming through, and they'll have better vision as well. So we're back on the national speed limit now, so we're down to our restricted speed of 50, so I'm keeping an eye on that motorcyclist. Blah 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 blah. Sorry, I keep stumbling on words, sorry about that. He's riding correctly, he's nicely in the right hand side of the road. That's not when I'm going on the left hand bend, I can't see him, but I did see him nonetheless earlier. Just keeping an eye on him, just in case he does want to pass. And sometimes if you can't see bikes or cars in your mirrors, sometimes sunny days like this does tend to help when you see what's behind you, because if it's not visible, sometimes you get the shadow. The shadow in some cases just there was on the right hand side. Right, he's just overtaken. Glide a bit to the left. There we go. You've got a sign there reminding us of walkers that might be in the road. So we'll just back foot it a little bit when we go up the hill there. And we're coming down the hill, so we don't need to apply any acceleration. Put the retarder on now, because it's rapidly going up to 50 there. There we go. It's remembering on bends as well that, you know, you don't necessarily need to be racing around them. Sometimes, especially if, you know, when you're carrying passengers, you've got to think of the G-force of going around a bend. You want to give them a most comfortable ride as you can. You know, it's not just A to B, it's the ride as well. So it's worth, you know, keeping an eye on the bends. Just judge to your eyes. You think, do I need to slow down on that bend? Probably. Would it be more comfortable? Well, probably would. So slow down. Here is a very, very slight right bend. So, you know, I can do that at 50, that's fine. This one here, I'm not even accelerating or anything. I'm just coasting around this bend, which brings me down to 45, which I can glide up this hill, put the acceleration on just to get up the hill. Because it pulls around to the right a little bit, we can just bring it down 40 mile an hour. Another kink in the road here. I can do that at 50, it's fine. Can't feel myself pulling to the left either. It's a nice swooping bend. There's some corners that are more comfortable if you take them at 40, 45. And as I say, you know, the 50 is a limit, it's not a target to do 50 all the way. Equally, you know, don't go too slow. I don't mean, you know, see a bend here and think, oh, I must do it at 20 mile an hour. Because of course you've got your driving time to consider as well. That I'm not going to go into. I'm going to let you do that in your training, because that's a whole minefield of training, that is driver's hours and regulations. So we're going to go left in this roundabout, taking it slowly. See there's a bus coming out, so I'm going to prepare to stop. Checking the situation, checking it's clear. I'll check the blind spot as we come out here, just in case something is zipped trying to get past us. So here's another open road. Again, keep an eye on the traffic behind, because you might find opportunities where they'd like to go past. It's worth noting when you're on roads like this, you know, you might think it's just easy just to zone out and just drive down a road, but really you want to be looking ahead a long distance than what you normally would, say, in your car maybe. I can't do an example with a bus in the way, but if that was a car in front, I want to be looking more beyond. If that bus was a car, I want to be looking beyond that, so where that van is in the distance you see there. That's my wide scope that I want to be looking at, especially in a road like this. You might think, why? Well, it gives you opportunities to adjust your driving, maybe. Maybe there's a tractor ahead. So there's no point racing up to the tractor, is there? You can just ease off just a little bit until you approach said tractor. Maybe there's a junction up ahead and there's a car trying to pull out, or another lorry. It gives you the distance to see what's going to happen. Maybe he's going to pull out. Just remember, you can't stop on a sixpence. You're not going to stop from here to where that blue car is. You're going to keep, you know, they are sharper than what they used to be, granted, but you know, you still need some good distance. It's just nice to know what's going to happen in advance, put it that way. See, that van is just starting to overtake, so I'm just, don't need to ease off too much. You could do that safely while I'm amply doing 50. But if there was something coming the other way, I'd want to back off a little bit. I can see there's a lorry coming down. So an example, I can see there's a lorry coming down. Is someone going to try and overtake me? Well, possibly. I'm already aware now that there's a lorry that's coming down the road. So if it does decide to overtake, I want to slow down really, because we don't want a collision to happen. Alright, granted, there'll be a daft time to overtake, but you know, I want to get to Devizes and have my lunch. I don't want to be involved in an incident. I'll just say incident. Overtake there if I was you, because I can see some traffic coming down. Good views over here, if you can see on the camera. Bus indicating left, that's why I just eased off there a little bit. That way I've not lost a lot of progress. See, I've only dropped to 40 mile an hour there. If I was right behind that van there, I'd probably be slowing down to 30 and then having to accelerate back up to 50 again. Anyway, so we're coming up to Devizes in a moment, so that's pretty much the end of the A roads now. So I shall sign off here. A big thank you for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed this style of episode. If you do, do put in the comments that you enjoyed it. Any questions? Also, I try to respond to them when I can as well. As I say, thank you very much for putting up for these past 11 episodes. I'm pretty hopeless without a script. I know it's probably not the standard in some of these trucking video ones. I do try. Hopefully they'll improve over time. But yes, so anyway, for now, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe for more of these videos. I don't know what the next video will be. I don't have anything that I've got in mind at the moment. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing next week or the week after next. So it's just working out what's going to happen job-wise. Well, I think I could actually call an episode out of that. So we shall see. Might be another one of these. We don't know. But anyway, thank you very much again. And until then, see you in the next episode. Bye.